Hello, my name is Stephan Engelhard, and I'm a museum educator at the LVR-Archaeological Park in Xanten in Germany. I'm happy to present a new digital experience for children and young visitors to our museum today. It is a self-led, tablet-based activity designed for our new permanent exhibition for the mediation of the World Heritage Sites at the Lower German Limes. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for the invitation and the occasion to take part in this conference. And I would like to start with a brief historical introduction to the site. The Roman history of Xanten begins with the Augustan campaigns. Roman legions established the military camp Vetra on the Fürstenberg, south of the modern city of Xanten. Outside the legionary camp, on a shore of the Rhine, civilians and artisans began to settle. At the initiative of Emperor Trajan, around the year 100 AD, the settlement was granted the highest Roman city status and became one of the most important cities in the German provinces. The Colonia Ulpia Traiana covered an area of 73 hectares with 40 insulae. Representative public buildings such as the Forum, Capitol Temple, and the amphitheater dominated the cityscape. The decline of the city began at the end of the 3rd century. Due to the threat of the Franks, the area of the Colonia was reduced in size, and a 16-hectare fortress called Tricensima was built on the 9 central insulae. The Roman era finally ceased, presumably at the end of the 4th or the beginning of the 5th century AD. The settlement shifted to the area of today's Xanten Old Town, the area of the former Roman cemetery road. The archaeological park was founded in 1973 and opened to the public in 1977. The area has not been built over since the late antiquity period. Today, only the foundations of the Roman buildings have been preserved. Since a direct access to the remaining archaeological evidence in the soil is hardly possible, some of the representative public buildings of the Colonia have been rebuilt as partial or full reconstructions in the scale of 1:1 on their original sites, and they are accessible for the visitors. The Roman Museum in the Archaeological Park was opened in 2008, and the exhibition tells the history of the Xanten area starting from the pre-Roman Iron Age and the Roman conquest to the foundation of the Colonia and the late antiquity period. In July 2021, the Colonia Ulpia Traiana became part of the UNESCO World Heritage as one of 44 archaeological sites on the Lower German Limes. A new permanent exhibition was conceived to mediate the latest results of archaeological research on the Roman military sites on the Lower Rhine Limes. The core element of the exhibition is a Limes section from Alpen to Kleve that visitors can walk on. There's a map on the floor, and 10 desks as well as interactives provide information on Vetra, the largest legionary fortress, the cavalry fort of Burginatium, probably the best preserved cavalry fort along the Rhine, the training camps in the Hochwald at Uedem, and more sites. Working alongside the exhibition concept, we conceived the tablet game in collaboration with a game design company. The aim was to provide a digital approach for children at the age of 10 to 12 years, giving an access to explore the new exhibition on their own. The game lasts up to 45 minutes and is available to individual visitors, but it is also possible to play as a group, for example, for a school class. In this case, the children will be divided into small groups and begin the game from different starting points, marked with the blue triangles here in the slide. During the course of the game, the players approach 5 of the 10 information desks where texts, graphics, and tactile models of the different sites are displayed. Further, some of the hands-on stations and interactives marked in yellow are included with riddles to the game. For example, Players need to explore the details of the legionaries' equipment and identify military sites on a digital map. There are a number of characters in the app game linked to audio plays in the exhibition. To solve the riddles in the game, the players must find clues in these short audio bits. In the first place, we want to address children and their families with an engaging and at the same time rather low threshold approach to raise their curiosity to explore the new exhibition by themselves in a playful way. A main learning objective is to convey that the Rhine served as a border and the area was a militarized zone for the Romans to secure the empire, but at the same time the river was not an impassable border. The ancient landscape developed into a zone of mutual contacts where Romans and Germanic people were trading and Roman soldiers worshipped a Germanic goddess. Based on this initial setting, an appealing storytelling was developed in the genre of a point-and-click adventure in which the players take on the role of an ancient trader and discover military as well as civil sites of the Lower Rhine limes. The goal for the players is to obtain a piece of the valuable but rare material of amber. And this is the first scene of the game. The ship, a Roman bark, has landed at the harbor and a crane begins to unload the barrels. At each point during the game, the players can access a map where all sites and locations will be revealed as the game evolves. A small leather bag symbolizes the player's inventory, which fills up as the players meet other characters and exchange different goods. On the left side of the slide, you can see Vera, one of the first characters of the game the players can interact with. On the right side, there's the artisan Acutus, and he will finally produce a small lucky charm from the piece of raw amber when the players return to the harbor at the end of the game. There are different options to start a conversation or for the exchange of goods or collected items. And talking to Vera, for example, the players will get some historical information on the settlement, which is growing in size because various craftsmen have settled in the harbor area. Vera also knows that amber is a rare material that traders occasionally bring along. And finally, she gives the advice to have a look on the map and search for the growth of the Ceres Velida. Here you can see the map when all sites have been unlocked. We use beacons, so the places will reveal automatically on the map when the players approach the desks in the exhibition. After starting the game at the harbor of the settlement, the players meet Velida, and the game resumes in Vetra, where the players meet the legionary Quintus in the armory of his barrack. Quintus has a riddle connected to an interactive in the exhibition focusing on the different types of Roman chest armor, and after solving this riddle, the players receive an old sword from their inventory from Quintus. A little bit further north, the players discover the cavalry fort of Burginatium at Calca. The fort was 3 hectares in size and 480 horsemen were stationed here. In Burginatium, the players are introduced to the cavalryman Caius Julius Primus, and he works as the anchor figure of the exhibition. He is part of the introduction film, and there's a painted copy of his gravestone in the exhibition. At this point, the players are encouraged to listen to an audio play in order to learn more about Primus's origin, because he actually is from Gaul, and his duties as an orderly officer. He's a stator. Afterwards, Primus sends the players into the stables to meet his groom Situger, and they will head on to the sanctuary of the Germanic war goddess Vacta Vecustis. The temple is only a few kilometers away, and archaeologists have found many items of Roman military equipment in the sacred area, providing a unique insight into the religious activities of Roman soldiers. The players donate the old sword they have received earlier and continue to a mansio on the Limes Road, where they will get a final clue to a Germanic village where the last chapter of the game takes place. There were no large settlements in the Lower Rhine area in the Germanic traditions, but merely hamlets and individual farms. And at the end of the game, the players meet Ganguso, who has been a scout in the Roman army. His character, or primarily his equipment, is based on a few surviving archaeological records of a grave inventory of a Germanic warrior from the early 1st century AD. After solving the last puzzle, Ganguso gives the players a piece of amber, and they return to the starting point of the game. Yeah, to quickly sum it up, the game meets with a very positive response from the visitors. We have tested the game in advance with school classes, and the game controls work well. Sometimes it is a bit difficult for students in particular to find their direction in the exhibition in connection with the game instructions. But in this case, there are always supervisors or tour guides that will help. Overall, the game was or is used more by individual visitors than by groups. And as a small improvement, we are just planning to reward the players at the end with a small mini amber bead they can take home. Thank you very much.